Gonna keep this series rolling as we hop on over to the NFC East side of things.
Welcome to the Rines Report with your host, Tristan Blake Rines.
So let's start things off in Washington with Dwayne Haskins, and will he be able to improve this upcoming season? Taking over the starting role for quarterback Alex Smith last year after suffering a gruesome leg injury, Dwayne Haskins went into the starting role and won a couple of games within his 9 attempts, sitting behind center. And Dwayne Haskins has taken this offseason, has taken this time very, very seriously, has been, there have been reports of him shedding some weight, practicing tons and tons and tons during the offseason. When it's your profession, when it's your job, it's something you love, you want to be the best at it. And Dwayne Haskins is absolutely working at trying to get better for this upcoming season for the Washington Redskins, the franchise quarterback moving forward. Haskins has a lot to prove this year. While the Redskins didn't make a ton of improvements on the offense, he is going to go into his year 2 with a lot of familiar faces, a lot of chemistry that has been built between guys like Terry McLaurin and a number of other players around the offense. Dwayne Haskins has a lot to prove in the sense that, hey, can I take this Washington Redskins squad? Can I take this offense? Can I mold it and help put up points? Can we win more games? And Dwayne Haskins effectively put in tons of work to make this happen, and the Washington Redskins might not have built up the offense around him this offseason, but defensively this year, getting Chase Young, in my personal opinion, the best player in this past NFL draft, the Redskins are a very much so defensive-sided team. They're much so hey, we're going to stop your offense. We're going to reduce the amount of opportunities for you to score points. We're going to reduce your ability to score points. And our offense just has to pick up the slack on the other end, modeling it, very similar to the Baltimore Ravens teams of the past, where the defense is really, really strong and the offense just needs to score enough points to put them in the position to win. Dwayne Haskins has a lot on his shoulders as far as putting up points. The Redskins, again, didn't build up a lot of offense this offseason, but and another way you can look at it is, again, the chemistry being built around him with guys like Terry McLaurin, Paul Richardson, the offensive line losing Trent Williams, but there's still some core guys along that offensive line. The backfield, still featuring guys like Adrian Peterson, but Darius Guice coming back, coming off that injury, going to have a little bit of, a commodity backfield of sorts. And Dwayne Haskins will still have some tools to work with around him. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces together. Let's move on to the Giants. And the storyline is, will the Giants, improve or will they regress this season? Obviously, picking in the top 5, typically that means the ceiling, you can only go up from here. But there was a lot of changeover for the New York Giants this offseason. Defensively, picking up a couple of guys in Blake Martinez and Colin Flacco. Keeping guys like Leonard Williams and making some more additions. Defensive back James Bradbury entering the group. But offensively, they picked up Andrew Thomas out of Georgia along the offensive line with their first-round pick, trying to get some more protection for Daniel Jones. But the biggest factor in all this is the new head coach, Joe Judge, another coach falling from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, the overarching hands of Bill Belichick around the NFL, even in the management side. But Joe Judge being put into this position, his first time being the head coach, formerly a special teams coordinator for the New England Patriots. So it's really going to be interesting to see how he works into this entire, Giants franchise. Can he take the talent from the Giants and translate it into more wins in the 2020 season? I feel like that's the biggest question, considering we don't have a lot of ideas about Joe Judge. He wasn't really on the radar for a lot of candidate jobs. He wasn't, first on the list for a lot of the, speculative jobs out there on the market this season, and was kind of a surprise pick by the New York Giants. Obviously, they didn't want to take a guy. They were going to invest in Joe Judge unless they had an absolute, high amount of confidence in his ability to be the head coach. But there's a lot of mystery behind what's going on this upcoming season. Will Daniel Jones improve? Will Saquon Barkley be able to play all 16 games this season, remain healthy? And health is the name of the game in the NFL. Your best ability is your ability to be on the field, is your availability. So the New York Giants adding some more players, adding some more talent this offseason, just like everybody else in the NFL. But when it comes to their ability to improve or regress, it really comes down to coaching. And a first-year head coach, there's a lot of mystery there. Either he's going to hit it out of the park and things are going to go swimmingly and they could win, 8-9 games this season, maybe even make a playoff push, or you know, they just don't really improve as much, and they're picking back within the top 10 this next draft. Let's move things over to the Philadelphia Eagles, where health is the name of the game. The big storyline is, can they remain healthy this 2020 season, where it's vital, losing tons of essential starters during the season, basically being led to the playoffs, being carried to the playoffs by head coach Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. But things got derailed in the playoffs when Jadeveon Clowney came in, you know, late hit from behind the quarterback, knocking Carson Wentz out of the playoff game against the Seahawks and essentially ending their season, no matter how hard Josh McCown tried. But this offseason, they went and improved the offense, improved the receiving core. One of the biggest, you know, gripes of the fan base, one of the biggest needs of the Philadelphia Eagles was to improve wide receiver depth, improve, you know, the youthful side of the offense. And if the Eagles remain healthy, they have a very, very, very talented roster on both sides of the football. Offensively, Carson Wentz, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Jalen Reagor, their first-round pick, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, and in the second round, the Eagles making a controversial pick and picking up Jalen Hurts round 2, and basically filling in the role of the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I feel like the Eagles looked at their quarterback situation as of late and said, hey, if we're going to lose Carson, let's get somebody with a little more versatility if he needs to come in, if he needs to step up in those kind of moments, because, well, Carson Wentz has a history of being hurt over these last few years. No matter how talented he is, you have to be on the field to be able to make the plays. And having Jalen Hurts as a safety net, as a safety blanket, whatever you want to call it, is, in my opinion, a really good idea for the Philadelphia Eagles. Defensively, they got a lot of talent. The secondary could still use a little bit of work, in my opinion, but when you lose tons of starters all over the place, the entire thing kind of falls apart. But in big part, head coach Doug Peterson, one of the best coaches in football, still being able to help lead that team to the playoffs in the first place with their quarterback Carson Wentz. This year, I don't expect, you know, anything less of the Philadelphia Eagles. If they can remain healthy, I think they could be one of the front runners in the NFC, in a very contentious NFC East, along with the Dallas Cowboys. And last but certainly not least, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. The big storyline to me is, can the Cowboys actually achieve their ceiling as the Cowboys and Dak Prescott draw closer to a deal, start to have the same mindset as things get ironed out? Basically, from what it sounds like, Dak Prescott's just looking for a huge chunk of change in the final year of the deal with the Cowboys, but he wants to remain in the organization. The Cowboys do want to keep Dak, so it feels like we're coming to the ends of the contract negotiation. And with that being said, the focus needs to shift to, can the Cowboys reach their potential? New head coach Mike McCarthy, taking a year off of football, formerly the Green Bay Packers, was a Super Bowl champion, has the ability to maximize the potential of this roster that has tons of talent. This offseason, adding plenty of players, keeping essential guys like Amari Cooper, picking up CeeDee Lamb in the first round, Neville Gallimore, Trayvon Diggs, adding to the defense, adding to the secondary, getting guys like Clint and Dix involved as well. The front seven is stacked up with pass rush talent and, being able to just youthful talent all over the defense. Offensive line is still incredibly solid. The loss of Travis Frederick, we're going to see how much of an impact that actually has, the All-Pro, Pro Bowler. But the Dallas Cowboys are still in a good position to win a lot of games. And if Mike McCarthy can take the talent on this roster, if he can get this team to work, at its highest potential, I can easily see the Cowboys being not just a playoff contender, but could be the NFC front runner this season, as long as they can reach that potential. So another shorter video. The offseason lull's hitting your boy kind of hard, but we're going to keep on chugging. I'm producing content 2 times a week just for you guys, so I appreciate you sticking around and watching. Feel free to watch some more content while you're here. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, share. Get the bell on the note every single time that I'm dropping a video, and I can catch you next time. Adios.